Hey guys, thanks for joining me. This is a quick, I always say quick and then it's not quick. Quick get ready with me video so that I can share my first impressions of some of the products that I hauled recently from Sephora, the cosmetics company store, which is an outlet store that features all of the companies under the Estee Lauder Empire umbrella. And I think that's it. Anything else? Yeah, that's it. So I have done my base products, and they include some that were in that haul, so I want to share that. I have used as a primer the Smashbox Photo Finish Oil and Shine Control Primer. I used this yesterday too, so I'm doing something weird and actually repeating products that I used yesterday because I want to see how they perform today under different conditions. It's much more humid today, and I'm using a different foundation today. Same powder, different foundation. So I want to see how everything behaves together. But this did, I think, fairly well yesterday as a primer. Yesterday and today, I have on the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Concealer under my eyes. I don't think I put any right there, just under my eyes. And the color is 3.1. This was fine. Maybe not my very favorite concealer, but certainly a solid performer. Did I get this from Sephora? I did. I got this from Sephora for 20% off. So I have that under my eyes, but over, you already know that I have my Becca Anti-Fatigue Under Eye Primer on, which, by the way, Becca's going out of business, and this is my very favorite under eye primer. I have, at this point, almost 10 backups of this because I really, really love this. If you've seen my videos before, you're sick of hearing of this, but if you're new, this does just a bit of spackling like you would on a wall, like a nail hole on the wall when you spackle it and cover it. This does a little bit of that under your eyes before you put your concealer on. You still want to moisturize heavily under your eyes, let that settle in, then go in with a little bit of this, smooth it out, and then use your concealer. And then let's see, on my face, yesterday I used the Tom Ford Flawless Glow foundation. I almost dropped one of the foundations, you guys, and if it smattered on the floor and burst, I would have died. Get yourself together. The Tom Ford Flawless Glow foundation. This I used yesterday. This is in the color 6.0 Natural. I did film a video last night with my husband. It's the Not So Newlywed tag video. We had a bunch of fun filming that and answering silly questions. So you go check that out if you want to, but you can see my foundation in that video untouched at the end of the day. So I put it on super early, probably 6 a.m.-ish or so, maybe earlier than that. And it lasted me through after dinner. It was about the time of the video that it started to kind of break apart a little bit on my nose and so forth. So this is a good one, the Flawless Glow foundation. And then today I'm trying another Tom Ford foundation that I have been so curious about, based on Charlotte Holdcroft. She is a YouTube personality and does makeup reviews and some other stuff, but mostly makeup. And she talks about the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate Soft Radiance Foundation, which I purchased at the cosmetics company outlet for half price, or maybe more off than that. I don't quite remember. But the color I have on today, this is today's foundation, is 6.5 Sable. So far, I like it a lot. The jury's out as to whether it deserves all the hype that Charlotte talked about, but we're going to test this out today. I like the way it laid down. It does illuminate quite a bit and also covered. I do have a lot of texture on my cheeks here and on my forehead and down into my chin, and it did a decent job of blurring that out just a little bit. My powder today and yesterday is the Pat McGrath. This is for your under eyes. It's called the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Blurring Under Eye Powder. Huge name, but I use this all over my face if and when I want to. It does really great under the eyes because it's a light, finely milled powder, but it also, you can use this wherever. So I take a big fluffy brush and just kind of dab it all around to help my foundation stay put, settle down, and absorb some of the oil in my oily T-zone. What else do I want to share? Okay, let's get into it then with today's products, which are also yesterday's products. I'm repeating them today, and I'll explain to you why. I've done my eyebrows. with this CoverGirl pencil. What is your name? You are the Ultra Fine Brow Pencil. Ultra Fine Brow Pencil. I have mine in soft brown. So I filled in here mostly and moved the tail out just a little bit. But I would also like to use at the end of the routine, don't let me forget, y'all, reach back into the camera and say, Veronica, remember you were going to use it, the Kosas Brow Gel. I think it's called Airbrush. Airbrush. We'll come back to that in a second. But what I'd like to do is go in with this palette again. This is the Tartelette, I always forget the name, the Tartelette Juicy palette. And here's why I want to do this. This is one that I bought on recommendation from Mel Thompson here on YouTube. Mel Thompson, check her out, excellent makeup artist. She raved about this palette because it reminded her of the Aspen Ovard palette from Tarte that is discontinued, that is like a holy grail for her. And I really like this color scheme too. Here's why I want to try it 2 days in a row, which I never do. I always get a different palette to rotate things out. I use the pinks. So I went in with this as a background, did a little bit of this on the outer corners. Actually, I'm sorry, a little bit of this on the outer corner, this on the inside of my eyelid. And then this is supposed to be a shimmer here, this color Paradise. And I put that on the top of my lid. And I think I used this shimmer here, like in the brow bone and on the inside corner of the eye yesterday. Again, you can see that in the video. These performed okay. Nothing wrong with that. They are just okay, these pink colors. They didn't impress me. In fact, they reminded me a lot of my experience with the Huda Beauty New Nudes palette, where the pinks were gorgeous in the pan. I put them on and they just kind of sort of blended into each other and became monochrome, which I don't love. I like for shadows to maintain their individual colors wherever you place them on the eye. And I realize that technique has a lot to do with that. I get it. But I had that same experience with these. I gave the New Nudes palette away to someone who I thought would enjoy it more because it didn't wow me for what I was looking for. I have shadows that perform better than that. And so I felt the same way about these pinks. Why am I bringing this up? Because I'm going to try again with this palette. I was really excited to get it, y'all. And I want to hang out in this side of the color family here and see, is it just something about the pinks in here, or is it the formula overall from Tarte in this particular palette that I find just okay? Again, nothing wrong. No criticisms, but when you have other shadows like your Pat McGrath, Natasha Denona, Sydney Grace, etc., that really are super high performers, you do notice the difference when you get to a palette that is okay. Again, nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying don't go get it if you're interested. So let's jump in here and experiment with the more brown side. I'm going to go into this color Charmed as a background shade. I'm even going to use the same tools that I used yesterday, which I've cleaned off mostly, to see if it's a brush issue, because sometimes that's the case too. Your brushes do affect how your shadow turns out. I'm a little tiny bit snobby about eyeshadows, and I don't mean that in the sense of price. I've worked with eyeshadows that are very inexpensive that are awesome. So it's not a price thing, it's a quality and performance thing. And I will test out a cheap fragrance, for example, a cheap perfume. And if I like it, I will deal with the performance issues and just reapply. But I don't feel that way about shadow. It's a lot more time consuming to apply shadow and get it how you want it, just to be disappointed during the day when it starts to fade or crease or whatever. And I don't have time for it. How about you? How do you feel about it? What I'm doing is a technique that I learned from Kim Kardashian's makeup artist, Mario, who has his own line now. We should probably stop calling him Kim Kardashian's makeup artist since he's pretty much established himself. But he likes to take the shadow, a dark shadow, up into this socket area here to create a shadow, like a deepening. You see how that sort of deepened and pushed back that space in the eye socket? He likes to bring it up to the eyebrow and out to create some shape and definition that maybe didn't exist before and add dimension and depth. I am applying this very, very lightly. Maybe I need to be a little bit more aggressive. Okay. I'm gonna use one of these darker shadows. Let's use Grounded here, this middle one on the outer edges to add a little more depth. I'm gonna use the same brush. So it's a really hot, about to be hot, really warm, hot, lush day here in Central Virginia. We're gonna get up into the 80s. When we woke up today, the ground was wet. It had rained last night, and it's like, you know, spring has sprung here in Central Virginia. We went on vacation last week, and when we came back, our backyard, our lawn, like it just like came to life during the week. And our backyard, the trees had bloomed. You know, we had missed that whole week of crazy pollen that drives people crazy. We'd missed that. Flowers had sprung. It's like we came back to like Shangri-La, to paradise. I really like it. I love this early part of spring. I love the beginning of every season where you get that change in weather, the change in feeling. It's just, I find it very invigorating and inspiring. So my fragrance of the day, for those of you that care and didn't check out that video, is called Iris. I never get this name right. Iris Dragues from Maison Lancôme. It's a really light, powdery, irisy fragrance. It's gorgeous. It's subtle though, really subtle. Okay, I think that does it for deepening the socket out. What do y'all think? It's hard to see here if I'm really pulling it out. I like to pull the eyeshadow out to the tail of the eyebrow to really sort of create additional depth on the eyes. Okay, we are then going to go in. I used this Morphe M153. It's like a packing kind of brush. I'm going to use that, which I used yesterday. I thought the shimmer yesterday was very lackluster. I did. I'm just going to say it. This Paradise color here, it's a shimmer. Look, it looks matte in the camera. It just didn't impress me. I don't need my shimmers to be like out to the gods, but they got to have a little punch. Otherwise, you might as well just be a matte. Hello? Okay, so we're going to go in with this color Shine. This like bronzy, goldy color here. Let's see how this works out. I also did get some fallout, which I'm so spoiled by the other shadows that I forgot that you gotta be careful with fallout on Tarte. So I wasn't terribly happy about having to clean that up yesterday. Yes, there are ways to avoid that, but I got caught off guard because I got too comfortable with my other shadows. Okay, I'm liking that so far. It's going on a lot more shimmery and bright than the Paradise did yesterday. So that's good. This is good. And then I want to take this. This is also a shimmer. It's called Reflect. And I want to put that on the inner corner with my finger for a little bit of added brightness there. And I always like to take a little extra and not kind of like stamp it on the inner corner. Not just the inner part of the eyelid, but the inner corner. I don't know if that's showing up in this video. I'll take it. Not bad. Not the best shimmer I've ever used, but not bad at all. See, it needs to have like its own presence, right? And not just fade into the other colors. That's what I don't like. And that's what happened with the pinks yesterday. And I was like, meh, I don't know about this. Just glad I got the palette on sale. It is a beautiful palette. The scheme, the color scheme is outstanding. All right, and then we are going to use a smudger brush like this. This is a Morphe M213, Morphe M213. And I'm gonna pick up that original color that's in the crease here. What are you called? Charmed. And let's run that underneath the eyes, lower lash line. You can be really generous with this. People are sometimes scared to do shadow on the lower eyelash line. Don't be. Just have some fun. Worst case scenario, guys, you have a bad makeup day and you move on and you learn for the next day. But don't be afraid to experiment. It really, at the end of the day, is just pigmented powder, guys, or fluid or whatever it is that you're putting on your eyes. Don't take makeup too seriously. I'm going then in with Grounded, which is that brown color, to deepen up the outer edge. And if you're like me and work in a kind of sort of conservative environment, what I mean by that is I'm not talking about politics, I'm talking about people's interest and tolerance in like fashion and makeup and whatever, and you don't want to get too crazy, you can always just use the weekends to experiment, or do in the evenings before you wash your face off. Get your favorite, fun eyeshadow palette and just pop on color and see what you think before you wash your face off. It's a very easy way to do that. I am going to pause the camera and do my mascara and something else. What else am I going to do? Eyeliner, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I have done a little bit of eyeliner on the top lid and at the back of the bottom, the outer edge of the bottom lid with this Maybelline Tattoo Studio eyeliner in the color. Do we have a color for this liner? Smooth Walnut. Smooth Walnut. And my mascara is my Holy Grail, which I did purchase an extra of in the Sephora sale, but this is my old bottle, and it's the Pat McGrath Dark Star mascara, my very favorite. This is, if you don't have this in your life and you have eyes that are shaped like mine and eyelashes that have any kind of length to them, you need this in your life. Please just trust me on that. And if you don't like your bottle, you can send it to me. I don't know if I mentioned earlier or if you care, but I have the MAC Paint Pot as my eyeshadow base in soft ochre, and I used that yesterday as well. I probably should have used Painterly, which is a little bit more pinky toned, for the pink color yesterday, but nonetheless, that's not the point, and it doesn't really matter. I used soft ochre today, which is a little bit more yellow based. And so I mentioned the Airbrush gel from Kosas. I have mine, I think it's the color Chocolat. Are you? Medium chocolate brown. And it's this little tiny brush like this that you use to just volumize your eyebrows a little bit more than what they are if you want that effect. If you like lighter eyebrows that aren't as dense, skip something like this. So it just adds a little bit more oomph and body to your eyebrows. Okay, let us move along with the products. So back to Tartelette Juicy. I like this look better than yesterday's, but I do better with brown tone looks anyway. I'll try again with the pinks. Maybe it's just something about the application yesterday, but this is just, your more standard office glam look, and it looks like it's going to perform well. We shall see. I didn't have an issue with the performance of those pinks yesterday. They did slightly fade by evening, but nothing to complain about. It was more so that they kind of muddied into each other that I wasn't super crazy about. Let us bronze, and I also used this yesterday, and it's the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer. I have mine in the color 2 medium. So here's the tone. Here's what I'll say about this bronzer. It is very, very light. Here, I'll show you what I mean. See? That's not a bad thing. You just have to build it up. It's funny because a lot of people just rave and rave about this. And I guess if you're the kind of person that likes a subtle bronzer, you should be probably raving about this. I like a bronzer that's a little more in your face than this. Mostly because I video conference and stuff. In person, this is excellent, right? Like if you're meeting friends out or going, whatever, anything in person, any in-person event, this is probably going to be a better bet because it's not as loud and in your face. It's not like a concert bronzer, right? It's not your J-Lo bronzer where you're trying to be like bronzed to the heavens. But it's nice and subtle. I feel like it did fade on me by the time Darren and I filmed that video last night. I didn't even see any bronzer in the video. And that made me sad. Now, when you're filming, you've got this ring light in your face and it washes everything out really quickly. So that might be part of what was going on. But just in general, I didn't feel like it was noticeable in the video or in person when I looked in the mirror right before filming. Okay, so just a little bit down the sides of my nose to add a little dimension there. I always like to take a little bronzer to kind of even out the eyeshadow look and bring it all together. A little bit more here, a little bit more there. I always like to put a little bit under my chin just to create a tiny bit of depth there. And then under, I said chin, I meant under my lip, but this is under the chin for sure. So I like it. Will it be my favorite? No, it will not. Will I use it and love it? Probably. In fact, it's a strong like. Let's just leave it at that. I don't know if it's a love category yet. I love the compact, though. The compact is, look at this thing. It is huge. It's enormous. Love it, love it. The size. Okay, let's move on to cheeks. Yesterday, I used the new one in my collection, a new blush called Ibiza from Buxom. This is the Buxom Wanderlust Primer-Infused blush in Ibiza, very pink. It very much went with the pink look. In fact, I was all pinked out and I probably should have chosen a different tone because I had too much pink going on my face. Those pictures are on Instagram, by the way, if you're interested. My Instagram handle is Veronica Says All. Veronica Says All, one word. And you can see on there what I'm talking about. But today's blush is not a new thing, and it's bespoke. The color Bespoke from Essence. The blush, this is like a $2 or $3 blush with this brown kind of tone to it to go along with the eyeshadow idea. I always put my blush further back first instead of on the apple because I'm heavy-handed. I will go in with some clown cheeks, y'all, and be looking just wild and crazy. I always also like to do a little bit of that with my blush, just to kind of bring the whole look together. When you're going with blush, always use a light hand. You can always go darker and deeper, but I have had many fails where I have like, boom, applied it too heavy to my face to begin with and just like regretted my life. You know what I'm saying? My highlighter is the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude Glow. This is new in my collection. It's been out for a while. Look at that beautiful embossing. I just love that. I think that is so chic. I'm going to just use my fingers. You can see that in the camera. Boom. I'm going to go over that with blush again because I don't like for the highlighter to stand out. I like it to look like an integrated part of my face. And I put a little bit on the bridge of my nose. Occasionally I'll put just a little bit on the tip, but not that much. I don't want to do that whole like crazy Instagram Rudolph nose thing. And a little bit under the brow bone. So to go back in and stamp over that with the blush so it's kind of more integrated. And finally, let's do lips, which I will do off camera so you don't have to watch me line my lips. That can be a little peculiar and bizarre. And I'll do setting spray and I'll come back and give you my final thoughts. Okay, so I'm done with the makeup look for today. This is a new-ish product, but not from the recent haul, and it's Le Lip Liner from Lancôme, and this is in the color Ideal, which is this sort of brownie mauvey color, which I used. I love these lip liners. I've got 4 of them and they have become my new favorites. I have tons and tons of different kinds of lip liners. Some that I think are okay, some that I like. That one I love, the lip liner. And then lips is not a new color. And I'm sorry about that. I should have pulled out one of the new lipsticks. But this is, who are you from? The Color Riche line from L'Oreal, Color Riche line, in the color 900 Glossy Fawn, which is a color I love. It works so well for so many different occasions. And it's a little bit glossy considering that I also have shimmer on the eye, and I usually do one or the other. Shimmer and matte, or matte and shimmer, but you know, sometimes you can break rules. And then I always love to share my little trick for getting the excess lipstick off so it doesn't end up on your teeth. If you drink coffee in the morning and you have the leftover sugar packet like that, not the container, the little packets. Quick way to reuse those before you throw them away and give them some additional use. So final thoughts. The Charlotte Tilbury bronzer is a decent like, maybe a heavy like. I don't know if it's a love yet. I need a nude glow, gorgeous highlighter, really like that. It's subtle, but also impactful. The Tartelette Juicy palette has redeemed itself today. I really like this eye look. Let's see how it performs, and I'll share final thoughts. Maybe at the end of the week, we'll do something like that. The Tom Ford foundations, both of them, this is what I have on today. This was yesterday's, are winners, absolutely. The Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin Concealer, solid. Not my very favorite, but solid. You know, the Buxom blushes, I love them. I love them, love them, love them. This is my third one, really great. The Kosas Air Brow, fine. Not like an extraordinary product, but definitely a really nice brow gel. And then finally, the Smashbox Oil and Shine Control Primer, good, I like it. That's it for the new products. I won't review everything else because all that other stuff is from my own collection. Hope you enjoyed. If you're new and you like makeup, if you like perfume, if you like listening to me just rant, please subscribe and hang out with me again. For those of you returning, I appreciate your support. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all next time. Have a wonderful day.